Handicapper Steve here, handicapping the racing from Aqueduct Racetrack here on Saturday. It is the 11th of October, 2025. Gonna look at the stakes action from the Big A, but before I get on to that, remember to please follow me on Twitter at Horse Racing Kit 5 for more selections for race courses around the world, and I mean it around the world. Let's look at the stakes action, races 4 and 10. From Aqueduct. The fourth race, it is the Artie Schiller Stakes. It's going for a $150,000 purse race for 3-year-olds and upwards here. We have a field of 7 horses entered, 7 horses in MTO, so 6 will head to the inner turf course, 1,600-meter journey or a mile on the inner turf course. Rails are out 18 feet. And with I know what they're doing in Aqueduct. The last few seasons, they're trying to save the turf courses and, for that end of the season. So we're not, the last 2, 3 years, we haven't been running on the turf courses at Aqueduct, past like mid-November. Uh, and Usually this race is run at like the third week of November. I would always have full fields. This year it's a lot earlier, and I think with that being said, also the field size is not as strong as it could be. Maybe next year when we go back to Belmont, the field size for this race will go back to a substantial amount of horses, and also back to November. But we're nearing the end of turf racing here in New York. We only have about a month left of it, which is kind of sad. We're getting with every day of less turf racing, we're getting closer to Belmont reopening, and which I can't wait for. I love Aqueduct, but Aqueduct is a shithole. Also, we'll get to that in a little bit, in a later video. But I'm gonna go with the 2 horse Major Dude. We're gonna go 2-6-3-5 in the superfecta, 2-6-3-5 super top selection 2 horse Major Dude. The 5-year-old horse by Bolt d'Ors. Tom Pletcher trains. Jean Velasquez gets the mount. Horse's most recent appearance came in the Mint Millions at Kentucky Downs, 1 mile on the 6th of September, and he just didn't handle Kentucky Downs. He finished fifth by 4.5 lengths, and he just wasn't into it. He just wasn't comfortable. Refreshment to a leveler playing field, back tackle where he's had very good, success in the past. I think he's gonna, run a little bit better race than he did last time out. He ran 2 back in the UN at Monmouth, mile 3/8, a lightning fast turf course, 19th of July. It finished third by 2 lengths that day, and he set the pace from a wide post draw. We got overtaken late by Restricting and Grand Sonata, horses that are much capable at that longer trip, but he ran okay. I just think his miles for races have been better. Ran prior to that in poker at Saratoga over the mile, where decent third place finish, where again, the speed on the front end was winning that day. Donegal Momentum ran terrifically. This horse just wasn't getting into it. And the opening verse, he had a decent third place finish where he was gaining some ground. He hasn't won since the Fort Lauderdale last December at Goldstream with the mile in the eighth, winning by a neck that day. He had to be used a lot that day, and Irad timed the race perfectly. That was a very good, strong race for him, and he won prior to that last October at Keelan, nearly a year to the day, just over a day, actually, 366 days, beating a very good group of horses in a very nice allowance race. But refreshed here, lesser quality horses, not the quirkiness of Kentucky Downs. I think he's a likely winner. We're going to use him on the ticket. I'll single him in that pick 4 that begins with this race. But to recount my selection for the 4th from Aqueduct, it is the Artie Schiller. Going to take the 2 horse Major Dude, 2-6-3-5 super. Like I said, single 2 in the multi race. Heading over to race number 9, or excuse me, race number 10 from Aqueduct, which is the Glen Cove Stakes. It's a grade 3 event going for a $175,000 purse race for 3-year-old fillies. Field of 12 horses entered, 11 and 12 are MTOs. 10 will head to the outer turf course, the 1,200-meter journey, or 6 furlongs on the outer turf course. Rails are out a dozen feet. My top selection, I'm going to go with the 4 horse Meek Governor. I'm going to go 4-5-2-7 in the superfecta. 4-5-2-7 super. Top selection 4 is Meek Governor. This 3-year-old filly by the Factor. Carlos David trains. Ricardo Santana Jr. is running terrifically, gets the mounts. They ran the horse most recently in an allowance race at Colonial, 5.5 inner turf course, 1st of August, and this horse won terrifically, winning by 2 3/4 lengths that day. On the front end, he's stalking, quickened up nicely. He could have probably won around another 5 times and won that easily. That was a very strong race. He proved that he wants to go sprinting with that last race at Colonial. They tried him rounding before that at Pimlico in the Hilltop, which was a head scratcher. He was facing tough competition, and he just wasn't getting into it. He finished 6 by 8 1/4 lengths, and at the top of the lane, he ran a terrific, 6 furlongs. The final 2, he didn't run it up an inch. He weakened out of it. He just wasn't comfortable. Like I said, I think he proved he wants to run 6 furlongs. That's what he's back at today. That's what he was nearly at last time out, and he won impressively. He faced some tough horses in Limestone 3 back at Keeneland over the 5.5, where he finished fourth by length. And if he would have had a better poster, it probably would have really made the race a little bit more interesting late than he did. But he was gaining ground. He just missed. But that one poster probably really cost him that day with a better place. And then the melody of colors. I remember his color for the horse's name was at Coldstream 5 furlongs 23rd of March off the bench, finished second by 1/4 lengths. I thought he was really gaining ground on that quirky turf course. But back to his sprinting trip, I think he's a very likely winner. I think the 5 horse Pop Idol for Johnny V and George Weaver Quinn also ran Zad Karata at Woodbine 5 furlongs in mid-September, where he finished fourth by 7 lengths, where he just dueled on the front end, just weakened out of it. He just never was really comfortable. He won on the front end though all around the Galway at Saratoga, 5.5 of the Mellon, winning by a length from the rail. He just kept going. Rumor has it he's still running up at Saratoga. That's how easy he won that day. His races up at Woodbine prior to that weren't bad at all, and his races locally last winter on this turf course, or his race last summer at Saratoga weren't bad at all. His race here last year in the major, and he just had a very wide trip, which cost her. But I think refreshing here with a better poster, a lot better horse since last year. Getting Johnny up, not bad idea. 4-1, I'll give this horse a shot on the ticket. Johnny's having an incredible year, and it seems like he's having an incredible fall also. So watch out for his horses. They've been really running. But to recap my selection for the 10th now from Aqueduct, it is the Glen Cove. Gonna take the 4 horse Me Governor. Give kudos to the 5 horse Pop Idol, 4527 Super, 4-5 in the multi race. So good luck to 'em. Please follow me on Twitter at Horse Racing Kid 5. Good luck, everybody.